Well, good morning and welcome to the webinar summary of the Clerks meeting which took place in Hampshire on the 26th November, a webinar summary for the PEN project, the Professional Exchange Network project, which is sponsored by the Education and Training Foundation. My name is Tim Strickland. I chaired the meeting, I would rather say facilitated it or acted as the works convener, I don't mind, in Fareham College where it was held. And this webinar is a summary for colleagues who couldn't join the meeting or those who are interested as well. Just a quick reminder that the meeting and the networks are coordinated by FE Sussex, which is the 12 college consortium company of Sussex colleges. We do stray into Surrey as well, but for this one we strayed over the border as well to Hampshire, and very pleased to work with our Hampshire colleagues on this initiative. So this webinar is here to reintroduce the Professional Exchange Network project, the PEN project, to make sure that colleagues who couldn't join the meeting can gain awareness of what went on, to give a reference source to everybody so it's here easy to look up, and to foster and continue the Professional Exchange Network. Now we had an agenda which looked at accountability measures, a very quick look at curriculum quality in HE. We talked of the document Keeping Children Safe. We talked about the ETF funded consultancy opportunity. We also talked about area review and training requirements for clerks. Now, if you've not met the accountability measures before, we're used in further education to being measured on retention and achievement. This is a development of that. It doesn't throw away what we've done in the past, and in some respects we've been ahead of the game because this does bring together a united approach across post-16. And it starts in 2016, which is now, but essentially it's 2017, with 5 accountability measures, most or 3 at least of which you'll all be very well versed in already. So there's going to be, along with attainment, an increased focus on progress and progression. So where do students go to at the end of their course? Where do they end up? And these figures will inform the minimum standards. And most importantly, there'll be a benchmark available for parents to look up and see how well a provider or a college is doing compared to other local establishments and compared to the national figure as well. So the 5 headline measures are progress, attainment, how are students doing in English and Maths if they're a grade 4, if they're Key Stage 4 or a grade D or E or below that, or the equivalent of a grade D under the new subject gradings, i.e. the changes to GCSE. And then the retention of students, which is, as we've already done it, and the destinations, what sustained and related employment do students go into as a result of their college course. And sometimes it can be tricky to judge that. So there will be tables published early in the new year regarding this. So these minimum standards from 2016, there'll be value-added measure for academic and applied general qualifications, completion and attainment measures for tech levels and technical certificates, the new pathways which are coming in. But regardless, the measures will show the progress of students compared to other students taking the same subject on a national basis. Now you could argue we've done that for a long time. I wouldn't disagree, but I would say that we've got additional measures being put in our paths here. So moving on, the Exchange Network then discussed curriculum quality and HEFKI requirements for quality review. The best advice I can give you on this one is consult with your fellow colleagues across the sector, particularly in local colleges, because it's highly likely they've been through the process and will be able to talk you through it very well. It also relates back to how Pearsons are treating their quality control issues, given that most of us would have our qualifications validated by that body. Now we spent some time on area review, the potential mergers that may or may not be documented in the reports from the Commissioner, the processes undertaken, how long it's taken, the due diligence, any TUPE required, and then a slightly different sort of subject but related, and that is the use of college-owned companies to deliver certain activities. For example, halls of residence or catering or international operations, all of which readily lend themselves to subsidiary or parallel companies employing staff rather than staff just working for the college. I did mention at the start that we had a look at keeping children safe in education. There's a a screenshot of the web page available via Ofsted. There is a link on the slides to this. It's a document which everybody should be aware of, everybody should have read, and presumably signed to say they'd read it. So that was a bit of information exchange there, and also how colleges actually tackle ensuring that they're tracking staff who've signed these various statutory documents. I reminded our clerks that the ETF are currently providing 2 opportunities of consultancy where the fees are fully paid. There's one for governors, chairs of governors, and one for principals or just below. So whichever one or both you take advantage of, it's free of charge, it lasts for 1 day, and it spans the spectrum of further education, both in terms geographically and of subject area offered. Now, FE Sussex is administering the Principals Fund, as I call it. The AOC are administering the fund which provides consultancy for chairs of governors and governors. Our link is there on the page in front of you. Just click on that and it will take you through to all about the project. And the final thing in terms of training, we didn't discuss training courses as such, but we did discuss the need for a standard checklist for all documents the clerk is given ownership of or given responsibility for. And we came to the conclusion that would be a really good idea. As fast as we tried to compile it, people added more, and of course that's inevitable, that's going to happen, so it's a dynamic document, not a static one. But we will return to this subject at the next meeting with some potential drafts of the definitive list of documents that need to be compiled. So that concludes the webinar for the Clerks meeting under the PEN2 project. I hope that was useful, and please feel free either to email us with your questions or to book in, free of charge to you of course, on another Clerks meeting. Thank you.